Megan's Law. Some of y'all learned a lot over the weekend. Let's get into it. Now, if you've been living under a rock, then you've missed the frenzy that Megan Thee Stallion has stirred up with Nicki Minaj. Now, I'm not going to get into who's more talented, who's better than the other.
Welcome back to my channel, and let's find out what's tea with Megan's Law. I'm going to do a duet with Lauren the lawyer from TikTok.
Now, since we've been talking about Megan's Law all weekend, I figured we could at least give little Miss Megan her shine, since it is her that we've been discussing this whole weekend and how influential her case was on this country. Megan Kenka was a 7-year-old girl whose parents reported her missing after finding her bike abandoned in the front yard at their home in New Jersey. So as the parents are shouting and looking for their little girl all through the neighborhood, the neighbors started to pour out and be like, what's wrong? How can we help? Now, as the neighbors are helping the parents look for this little girl, what the parents did not know at that time was that one of the neighbors was just pretending, because he ended up being her murderer. Now, if you want to look him up, there's his name. I know sometimes people like to put a face with the story. He was 33 years old at the time, but let me tell you how he got caught. So as the story grew, people got invested. Somebody called the police to give them a tip and was like, hey, I know somebody who live in that neighborhood, actually right across the street, and he's a pedophile. Now, his name was Joseph Cifelli, but he was actually roommates with the murderer, and they had a third roommate named Brian Janin. All three of these men were convicted pedos. Nobody in the neighborhood knew. They just waving to their neighbor when they see him, just clueless. Eventually, the coppers find Megan's clothes all cut up in these different trash bins. Then Jesse confesses to the murder and tells the coppers where he dumped her body. He dumped this baby in Mercer County Park. Now, I know what you're thinking. How did Jesse get a hold of her? Was nobody out there watching this baby while she was riding her bike? And the answer is no, because he didn't snatch her up. He walked right up to her, invited her to come in his home to see a puppy. Now, I'm going to spare you all the gruesome details of what he actually did to her, but if you're curious enough, just go look up the case. But what I will tell you is that he told the cops he had been thinking about doing this for a while. He couldn't help himself, because when he would watch her from across the street playing in the yard, he would get sweaty palms and his heart would race. And oh no, he not new to this, because I told you it was all convicted pedos living in that house. 5 years prior, he had been convicted of doing the same thing to a 5-year-old girl by luring her to help him find some ducks.
Lock them up and throw away the key. But they're not doing that. So if they're not going to do that, at least let us know who they are so we can watch them.
There you have it. That is how we got Megan's Law. And now convicted pedos have to register where they live, and everybody in the community gets notified.
And lock him up and throw away the key is just what they did. Although it wasn't an easy fight, it was well worth it to have a federal law aimed at protecting children. So while the scumbag avoided the death penalty because the laws changed back in 2007, his lawyers continued to fight for appeals for his release. And thankfully, it's been denied. And he's still locked away. But the point is, this scumbag is still breathing and using what little rights he has, while this innocent baby girl cannot grow up with her family.
And he has more rights than she did. Where were her rights? She's dead.
Now, as if all of this wasn't bad enough, we are here in 2024 where female rappers are not using her name to spread awareness to protect other females. No, instead Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj use Megan's Law as a diss towards each other on their latest singles. It all started when Megan Thee Stallion dropped her track, Hiss, and I won't play the song because it's pretty explicit, but we will look at that particular line that has the internet up in a frenzy. She says, these girls aren't mad at Megan, these girls are mad at Megan's Law. If you don't know, now you know. Kenneth Penny, who's Nicki Minaj's husband, has served a sentence for SA. Her brother is also currently serving a sentence for SA. I believe it's 25 years to life, and you can read more about that here. Then, Nicki Minaj responded with her track, Bigfoot, with this particular line. This little begging girl talking about Megan's Law. For a free beat, you can hit Megan raw. Now, we're not going to talk about who the better rapper is because both females are talented. We're just going to talk about how they're using the term. And I'm not the only one that sees a problem with this because Megan Kenka's father told TMZ he is not happy. He found himself deeply disturbed by the lyrics that reference his daughter. Although he has not listened to the song, he has read the lyrics, and that was enough for him because he is deeply disturbed and might seek legal compensation.
I wanted to be dead for a couple years.
wanted to die, and
So that's what I try to tell her. You can't sit idle, which she's been doing.
it's been bad.
Anyways, that's all the tea for right now. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.